Hi students, welcome back to your two-story house. Today we are going to learn a couple more modeling methodologies. We are going to add a balcony, or rather just a outdoor area on the ground floor. We're going to explore some roofing options that are more exciting than the standard roof. We will also be working with ceilings, lighting fixtures, and then also how to add stairs. So the first thing we're going to do is very simple. We're just going to add a little outdoor balcony area to this back area. I'm going to go to my first floor plan. So I have already put floors in here. And probably my floor outside is going to be a different material anyway. So in order to generate this floor, I'm just going to draw a new one. Architecture, floor. I'm just going to use this rectangle tool and go from here to here. Let's say it's there. If I don't like it, I can always change this later. Let's just make this 12 feet, enter. Move this out. Let's just keep that. I'm going to move this tag out, so it's just a little easier. Check it out in 3D view. What is its type? It's a generic 12-inch floor. Probably, we could dig into what this actually would be, but I'm just going to say it's concrete for now. Okay, so that's wonderful. Just as a little refresher, we'll go ahead and add railings to this so no one falls off. So we'll go back to architecture, click on railing. This time we can grab lines because we've already drawn the floor. Click here, here, and here. Click OK. Yay, magical. We have railings. Superb. So what we do not have is a roof, and it's like hot. We want to make sure this is shaded area. We are going to need to just have a roof over this area. So one way to do that would be to create a specific kind of roof that's called an extruded roof. So an extruded roof allows you to draw a profile, and then it will use a type of a roof and extend it almost like an extrusion through. And I will demonstrate what I'm talking about now. So in the elevation mode, which I think it's north, we're going to just put a random roof right here. So I am going to go to roof and pick roof by extrusion. It is asking to pick a plane. You hit OK. And the plane that you want to pick, let's click it here, pick plane, is this one. Level is roof, okie dokie, offset. All right, whatever. So now it's giving me the option to start drawing this roof. I'm going to pick, a spline, something super weird as usual. Okay. So you want it to be a single line. You don't want it to loop on itself. I don't even know if it would process it. We hit OK, and it just kind of disappeared, right? Well, what has happened is it has no idea what you're trying to do. It just assumes you're making a roof for the overall house. But we want this basic generic roof. Let's make it thinner. It looks so thick. To extend out here. So I'm just going to sort of drag it out of the building for a little bit. All right, so yeah, we pretty much want this thing over here. So what I will do is I will use my precious align tool. So if you are not familiar with how align works, if you click on an object in the modify tab, there is this align tool. And it allows you to pick faces of things. So for example, I'm going to pick this face right here and align to this face. All right, that works great. If I pick this face and align to this face, that's not what I wanted. So there is an order to these things. You pick your target first, and then you pick the thing you want to align. So again, align. I'm going to pick this. If you don't have what you want selected, you can hit tab. In this instance, because of the railings, it's just becoming really problematic to select things easily. Okay, wonderful. This is my fantasy home. This is just so beautiful. My client's gonna love this. LOL, no, it's hideous. So what we're gonna do instead is try to modify this roof to cover this portion in a really much more fun way. So for example, there are a whole lot of tools that you can use to do this, but they don't work if you have this default sloped roof. So first thing we're gonna do, I'm just gonna head over to the roof plan and then go in and edit the footprint. First thing I'm going to do is just simply remove the slope. So select everything and then uncheck define slope. Once you do that, you would be here. Fantastic. So there's a lot of fun things that now magically pop up that weren't there. So prior to having a flat roof, we would have had only edit footprint, but now we have these sort of additional things. So again, let's just edit the footprint. One thing I will show you that allows you to edit things is something called a slope arrow. So this allows you to change the slope of your roof. And let's go back. So now that it has sort of like pitched, it's a flat surface perhaps, but it is now like draining everything down to this corner. So that could be super useful to some of you. Could definitely get the job done. You know, we go back in here, we edit the footprint, and we just pull this baby out. And that could be cool. No, it's not cool. I get it. But you get the idea. But another thing that you could do instead, which is far more fun, is add points. So again, back in roof plan view, I'm just going to add some points like so. And then I'm going to modify the sub-elements. So what that is allowing me to do is to create this sort of tessellated surface, obviously probably for more specific needs than what I'm willing to do. I want this to be really fun, you know, the coolest house on the block. But you can use this to create specific kinds of roof details that you need, like crickets that go on chimneys. Not a lot of chimneys here in California, presumably, but you know, you get the idea. But it's also for having lots of fun. So if we can go back into 3D view, you can start to see how much fun this can be. Okay, didn't say that, but all right. -1, 2.6. Let's just make sure. Go back in here. Still keeps all my tessellation, but now pulls this back out. And check it out on the 3D view. All right. Okay, so this is like much classier than whatever I was doing prior. So I'm just going to delete this, even though this probably costs so much money to do. I'm going to just, you know, to make it look good, get my walls attached. All I did there was grab all the exterior walls and make it attach. You can do the same thing with interiors. Just right click, select all instances in your entire project, and then attach. Oh, my bad. Select all instances, attach top to base. Boom. Okay. So now we have a super fun roof that's just catching all the attention. And we have it extending out over our balcony. Yes, so this is fantastic. Now let's talk about our ceilings. So a classic error is to come over to your first floor plan and to start drawing your ceilings. So you click on your first floor plan, you click over to your ceiling, and you're like, well, it's picking up everything, but whatever, fine. Just click that. None of the created elements are visible. So this is pretty straightforward. The view you have picked, which is a ceiling plan, does not show, it doesn't show ceiling elements. You need to be drawing actually on the ceiling plan. So I'm just going to Control Z and go back to my first floor plan. And now, just escape out of this. And now when I go ahead and try, and I'm just going to sketch this. I have no idea why it keeps, well, I do, but that's for another day. Let's do the, instead, boundary line. And then we can go ahead and trim things. So trim, extend to corner. Just click on these two elements. Click on these two elements, and then we'll talk more about this in a second, but you hit OK. Voila, a ceiling. And you can't really see this ceiling because it is this just basic compound ceiling, just normal. We'll switch it to the ACT system, which is a ceiling tile for now, which by the way would just rarely go into residential projects. So while we might not be using ceiling tiles in this two-story home, I wanted to talk quickly about what you can do to modify a ceiling grid. Because when you are working on your office projects, you will be asked to create ceilings and then lay out the grid. So we used to do that manually in CAD. And then it would ask you to put your lights in. So the reason you want to always know how to modify a ceiling grid is because your lights dictate that grid. REVIT is trying to put it in the center. But let's say it's really important that there's just this lighting straight down the center. So the center line is right down the middle of this room, and I literally cannot put a lighting fixture in the center of the room because it's at a juncture. So if I wanted to modify this grid, all I would have to do is select it and move. So not as once this marquee starts to go, you can start moving things. And the whole thing will move. In addition to the whole sort of system will allow you to move the lights once they're in there. So you want to do something even more fun. We're going to just like rotate that grid. Now that's totally feasible. So that's just a sort of FYI on these. Just Control Z back to something like this. The next thing you might want to use also with this is you can align, which can be helpful. I have been on jobs that have insisted on using X amount of tile. The less the frill around, the more affordable it is. So I have been asked to eliminate little skinnies around, and that was their priority. Okay, so then the next thing we'll do is lights. So if you are using this residential template, you will find the lights in the component family already. So it, for me, went straight to a pennant light. Really wants me to put lights in. Cool. So I'm just gonna click in here. All right, awesome, great pennant lighting. Obviously, this is not laid out nicely. So again, use the align tool with align. Oops, here we go. That one to this one and this one. Oops, other way. See? There we go. So that's how I would probably go about putting these in, randomly sort of throw them in, and then align them later. If you had a another kind of component, so typically let's load a family because I already know it's not there. The lighting that would go in These are the sort of ceiling lights. Let's see if I can find what I'm looking for here. Definitely not that. Sure, I think this is what we want. Troffer light. Okay. So here, you see how this is like coming in this way. You can grab one, rotate it, and oop, okay, my bad. We'll type it in this time. Well, wow. 90. And so this one automatically aligned, but sometimes you bring it in and it will be over here. And again, you can just use your align tool. It's an interesting workflow. You could either align your grid to your light, so there you go. So that's that, but when you put your regular ceiling in, let's say here, so this is again the double height area, this is my single height area, we are going to just go ahead and add another roof to that. It will just be gypsum, so it won't have this grid system, and you can use what other kinds of methods you want with that. So the last thing we're going to do for this tutorial is stairs. Very exciting. So clearing out some of this, the best way to sort of view your stair creation, because they're so three-dimensional, is to tile all your views. So we'll come here and just start with a 3D view and a first floor view. We will go to the view tab and we will tile those views. Now we have two windows. I know it's getting a little crowded here, but you can come over here. I know, on the other side, I know that it's going to go like in this area, so I will just grab these elements. By holding Control, I can grab more elements, and I will simply turn on the sunglasses. Well, it's glasses. It's about visibility. Get it? And hide the element. To bring that all back, you can just turn reset. But this is another layer of like working on things specifically. So my stairs are going to kind of go in here. I'm going to place them over here. So first thing I'm going to do, go back to architecture, click on stairs, and start making stairs. So if you just click anywhere, well, first thing you can do is pick whatever stair you want. As you all know, hopefully, spiral stairs are like really not ADA. Like people, while they look cool, they're just not the most accessible stair you could be using. This is an L shape. Let's go here, and it's just gonna generate it for you, and you just kind of shove it wherever you need it to go. You definitely could probably do something if your house is looking similar to mine. Let's just 90-degree that. No. Let's just mirror it. It's not looking the way I imagined it. All right. It gets worse. Okay. So this one is the one I kind of imagined for the L. And I think it could work. It's little. You know, it's okay. But, you know, it's taking up too much space, so let's do something else different. Let's just do this straight run. So the thing about the straight run is it is going to give you some indications about how many rises and runs you have. It is basically going to say if this is as far as you can go, that's cool because you can just turn it around and draw more stairs somewhere else. Super not allowed. So that is what the tool is doing. And if you come over here, it's actually calculating rise and run for you. It's decided basically very logically that you have a stair that goes from the first floor to the second floor, and that will take 16 steps. And the riser height with that is 6 3/4, which max is about 7. And the tread depth is typically 11. So these numbers here are what permits you to stay within code. If I decrease this number, it would probably not allow me. Yeah, just like don't do that. So, and then if I increased it, that would be okay. It would still be 6, but it would take up more space. Same thing with this tread depth. There is code to that, but it's not like it's just not like 16 inches, for example. I can't remember that exact one. So anyways, let's start. And I just want to do something like this. So I actually want to align this to this. I think that, yes, making this tread depth is just, it's too much. So I'm actually going to go back and try and modify this a little bit. Yeah, I'll just delete it. Whatever. 16, 11. 11 feet, hilarious. 11 inches. Draw it again. It's so much shorter. That's great. Perfect for my little residential project. I will use the align tool again to align this to this, so it's nice and visually clean. I'm even going to try and align this to my second floor plan, because I think that would, it could be good, it could be bad, but I think it's nice to sort of have this aligned next to this part. Let me just click this. It automatically generated railings at its stairs because I had already asked it to do that. So if you don't have your railings on, you can specify that over here. So With the landing, actually, I want to align this first. There we go. Well, it's too close, but fix it. Okay, so now that's aligned. Wonderful. So the next thing I'm going to do is deal with this landing. Okay, so the way that we're actually going to do this is by modifying the floor, because there's ways to easily add a landing here that has railings that come from your actual railing panel. So just to show you what I'm talking about, let's click, we have that, we have that. First thing we're gonna do is modify this. Modify, edit path. We're going to bring this to here, snap, and then that is perfect. We will go into the floor. We will edit that boundary. I am just going to drag this to here and add some lines. Maybe a rectangle, because that would be easy. And then I'll just trim that. Oh, it didn't line up. I will just draw it. Draw this down to there. Adjust it later. Draw this down to there. And this over to here. And then up to there. Okay, so now we've just sort of added the floor, and that's good to go. Sure, why not? And then last thing we will add is our railing, which is here. Railing. And then we'll just add, again, this was the same one we were using for the stairs, so we'll just add a railing here. And then we're good. Oh, no, we're not. It's all the way down there. So we'll just change this to the second floor. Okay. So we'll go ahead, go back to our main view, which is a tabbed view, so we can see more stuff. But that's it for this lesson. Oh my, I accidentally moved this line and I didn't just change it. So let's go ahead and just go back and edit that. And the plan view is probably best. And we will just grab it and drag it. Make sure it's the same over there. And we're good. Okay, so this is what you need to complete for the next assignment. You need to add lots of beautiful lighting. You need to add a balcony, and then you need to add a really amazing roof, and then a set of stairs.